how I want to live. It's I need to survive, and what can I do to make that happen?
What's up, everybody? I have a really, really special guest today. I think she is an amazing, extraordinary person with a really, really unique background, how she started in business. And we're going to learn so much from her, from her 24 years of business experience, and she traveled the world. So without further ado, Aunia, can you introduce yourself and let us know how'd you get started in the marketing business?
Hey, everyone. So I got started in a very unconventional way. I didn't actually want to do marketing or web design at all. I actually wanted to be a therapist. That was my end goal. And my trajectory of my life shifted very extreme. And now I'm here 24 years later. But how it shifted for me was I was living in Michigan, and I said, okay, I want to move states. I want to try something new. So I moved to St. Louis, Missouri. I went ahead and applied for college, and then I tried to look for a job. And so I'm like, I'm in a new state. This is exciting. It's terrifying at the same time. If you haven't lived in a new state when you are so young, it's a very life-changing experience. It's exciting because you're like all these new things, but it's also a little nerve-wracking because you're like, I don't even know where the local grocery store is, you know?
And were you by yourself?
I did go with a boyfriend at the time. He was from there, and he was in architecture school in Michigan. And then when he finished school, we moved back to where he was from. So I did have at least one person I knew, which was helpful. And I was on my way to a job interview. And when I got there, I was really excited. At that time, I was a dental assistant. So out of high school, I got into dental assisting because it was a good job that you didn't have to get a degree for. You didn't have to get any sort of certification in Michigan at the time. Things have changed. I mean, this is like 24 years ago. And I was on my way there, and I walked in, and it was this new experience of people, and I was excited. And within about an hour, I heard screaming from the break room. And so I went back there, and we all stood and we watched 9/11. And in that moment, I felt very uncomfortable because I didn't know anybody. I was in a state I didn't know. And I just looked at my boss at the time, and I said, I gotta go. Can I go? I want to leave. And he said, sure. And I left, and I never returned. I never called. I didn't really do anything again with them. And if they're watching this, I mean, this is years ago, that's why. I just left and never returned. And I went in, I volunteered at the Red Cross, and was not able to find work. It just was a very hard time for a lot of people who had lost their jobs, whether or not it was walking out in the moment of a brand new job, or just the landscape had changed for employment at that time. And I knew I wasn't going to be making my bills. And I was also having some health challenges that had really creeped up during that stress. And so I did a lot of thinking, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I realized that I had this great asset. In 1998, I had a good friend who worked for a web design company, and they updated all their hardware, and they had these extra computers. And so he said, do you want one of these? And I'm like, yeah. And it had Photoshop, and it had Dreamweaver and Flash on it. And I just had a go
That
at
is
it.
so old school.
It was so
Dreamweaver. We call it
exactly.
what do you call it? You see what you get or something? It's like a widget. What you
Yeah.
see is what you get or something like that.
Yep. It's
Oh
so
my God.
old. I think my computer was like a 3 GB computer, and it was amazing. Like
Got
that
it.
was huge. So I had already been building websites. I had already done graphic design for fun. It was not a thing I considered for work. It was fun. It was just enjoyable. I was in a band, and I made album covers, but in that moment I thought maybe I could do something with this. So the person I was dating at the time, he had a friend who worked in the same kind of industry in obviously St. Louis, not Michigan. And I called him up and he said, well, let's get you an interview with my company. And I'm like, cool. So I drive there. I'm all stoked. I got my pathetic portfolio and I walk in and it's super nice, but they just looked at me and they were like, yeah, no, like you don't, no, this is not professional. Like you need to like go to school. So I left. I felt extremely heartbroken because I thought I did good. Like I thought it was a masterpiece. I'm like, this is amazing. Of course, now I look back and I was like, I was very naive. It was not a masterpiece. But then I started a solopreneurship. I started doing work for friends and family, just little pieces here and there.
We're starting out on your journey on becoming like a, solo entrepreneur. And how long did it take for you to get your first paycheck?
Well, it depends on what you mean by paycheck. Does it mean like,
Like
um,
from your work, from your, for your graphic
like
design.
somebody actually gave me money. They actually said,
Yeah.
here's
Yeah, like a
money
business
for you.
owner. Yeah, yeah.
Let's see, I'd say probably within the first 6 months of doing that, I had some, friends and family that were generous and kind. And so my first paycheck was more based in somebody, I think, taking pity on my circumstance and also wanting to support my dreams. But then shortly after that, I got connected with some people and got some small jobs. And then I started making small money, and that was good.
So, why didn't you, just pretty much give up? Because you've gone 6, 9 months and you're making very, very minimal, and it seems like it's less than what minimum, job would make. Why did you keep going?
The reason I kept going in that direction is I really didn't have a choice. With my health being where it was, I really didn't have the ability to consider going to work a 9 to 5 job. It was such a challenging time. I mean, it got so bad over the years and it progressed. By the time by the time 2012 hit, I mean, I was on a feeding tube formula. And all through those years from the beginning, from 2021 all the way up to that time, doctors continued to tell me there was nothing wrong with me and it was completely in my head. So I was pretty much on my own. So for me, there was a twofold answer to that, Daniel, about not giving up. It's the not giving up because this is a way for me to create some type of income. And I can't give up because nobody believes me with my health. And I know there's something wrong. So tenacity has been this huge part of my life. I mean, I love this Japanese proverb that says, fall down 7 times, get up 8. It's just the way that I've had to live my life by design. And I'm pleased with that, if that makes sense. It wasn't just a conscious choice to go, this is how I want to live. It's I need to survive. And what can I do to make that happen?
So, you were battling your own health conditions and running a business at the same time, right?
Mm.
So, when did your business really take off?
This is a beautiful question. So, the business for me has been mostly in survival mode for years. It has really been I make as minimal as I can to get by, and that's it. Rather than let me try to scale, let me try to expand. And also with my disability, with my issues, I haven't had the ability to also connect in ways other people have because I'm isolated. It did not afford me networking opportunities. I couldn't join my local chamber. I couldn't go to local networking things. If somebody invited me, a client wanted to invite me to something or wanted me to be a part of something bigger, I was very limited in what I could do because my health sometimes wouldn't support that, or I'd be doing really, really well. And then I'd have a crash and then I would have to step back. In the last couple years, my life has changed and we've completely shifted. So in 2018, 17, I got my first diagnosis, took 18 years to get it. And in 2018, I was given medication that stabilized me. But when I was diagnosed in 17 with mast cell activation disorder, And then a year later, I was given medication. I went down to 3 to 5 allergic reactions a month. My health improved. My body wasn't in constant fight or flight. I gained 30 pounds. I had always been extremely underweight and fragile. And then last year, I got my second diagnosis, which was the biggest one. It was the umbrella of all the other little ones. It was like, this is why all of this stinks. These are the things. And so I decided it was time to shift the playing field. I'm like, you know what? It's time to level up. I'm strong enough to do that. I want to shift our branding, completely rebrand ourselves as a company. I'm now able to join chambers and be a part of a lot more things because of virtual connectivity. And people are willing to work with me on that because of accessibility and adaptability. And then stepping into that space of, being vulnerable and honest about it, because being a female in tech, it's already difficult to be in a male dominated industry. I just decided at this point, this is who I am. And I'm not going to hide from it anymore. And by doing that, rebranding, stepping into my truth, now we're thriving, which is exciting. It makes me almost want to cry because I never thought I would reach this.
That's amazing. Like, what is the biggest, I would say, change that happened in your business?
I think having the energy to really focus on our business. So what I would be focused on a lot, instead of elevating my company, I would be more focused on elevating my clients and doing that for them, which is what paid the bills. Rebranding, changing our messaging, rebuilding our website, creating solid content on our website, providing, good information out there so that we are gaining PR opportunities and podcasts like yours, and then also speaking out about important topics that people don't want to talk about.
I think the COVID have shifted a lot of families, right? In terms of like they had a plan and it just completely shifted 90-degree and now we're going this way. So I can totally relate when you have your partner come and you guys work together, and we still work together right now. And it's like it's really different to work with your spouse and you couldn't wait to get to work. As for me, I was at an okay job, extremely stressful, and I was telling myself that it's okay. Everybody in my family said that's okay. That's how job is. I didn't know better, you know. I literally thought I was insane. I thought I was why am I the only one feeling like this at work? So when we came out, things had changed. I just say, you know what? I'm gonna stop listening to everybody. I'm gonna stop living to everybody's expectations.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna live for myself, for my expectation, for my happiness, my sanity. I'll do what I want. Let me buy a course on marketing. I have no idea on how to do marketing. I was the worst, but I made it work. I got better. I keep learning. I made better. I really want to ask you a question like, when you and your partner come together, what have been some of the moment that you were close to the bottom because you got ups and downs and you were, the money kind of stopped coming in and you got to figure something out. Like, do you have those moments?
I'm going to be transparent right now. And I'm going to tell you, I'm having a moment like that this very moment. I want people to realize that you can be in your top of your A game, winning awards, and have the rug pulled out from under you. I had a client that I had worked with for over 3 years. And in the last year, they had been about 80% of my income. And I invested a lot of my time into them over my own business because I really cared. And I had a very long relationship. Unfortunately, some things shifted the way they did business, and a lot of work got pulled. And it kind of caught me off guard, and I wasn't prepared. And I had to pivot really hard. It took me down to a very dark place. I don't get depressed. Usually I'm hyper and anxious and nervous. Like, I don't get depressed. And I went down hard. And then I realized, as everybody does, that life happens and we shift relationships based on where our footing needs to be. And I shifted our whole entire focus. I said, we're putting it all on ourselves. We are going to completely turn this around. And within 2 months, I had over 30 pieces of press written on me, things that are still coming out. We gained our first 5-digit client, and we just turned it around. But I got back up, and I just believe in myself. I believe in my values and who I am and what I stand for. And my biggest heart takeaway from this is I know the right people will show up if I continue to forge forward. And then also refocusing how I work with clients. I have, as a person, because I'm so passionate and so driven and so in love with the work that I do. And I was honest. I asked them about values. We talked about a lot more things up front than I normally would. Usually those kinds of conversations I didn't have with clients.
What is your, I would say, best method to attract those clients, right? Like, how did you get those people to kind of reach out to you?
It's been 90% referrals. I mean, and I like that. I don't really like going out and trying to gain leads and, do all of that, because it just feels a little fake to me sometimes. So we do ask for reviews. And I think that also helps that we have reviews on our website. And that's always hard to do. It's just one of those things. Even if people love you, it's hard to get reviews. So anybody out there who's been having challenges getting reviews, it's not easy to get reviews. Even if people love you, it's hard to sync them because people don't want to write on Google, or, they're so busy. And of course, with things how they had shifted, the person that came to us was a referral. And that was our first $10,000 job. That was the first time we'd experienced such a large amount of investment in our skills, which was exciting. And we loved it. And we love our new client.
That's great. Congratulations on that one. I think, hopefully they can refer you a couple more like that.
I know, right? I know, exactly.
That must be good. Thank you for that. I think we, as all entrepreneurs, we all experience I think it's called the entrepreneur life cycles. It goes up and then it goes down, where you almost couldn't pay rent or you couldn't pay payroll. And then you freaked out and you got to do something, and it goes up again, right? Like, hey, we made some more money. It's like, oh, interesting. And then it goes down. It's non-ending cycles of like, wow, we made a lot of money. And then next few months, like, boom, something happened, clients cancel, and you made no money, right? So it is a cycle. I think the more, I would say that the more experienced you are, it just means that you've been through more cycles. And
I've been through lots of cycles.
Like
I'm a pro at
down. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I've been through there twice already, 3 times. We always get better. Let's figure something out. How can I get some clients to kind of cover these bills coming up right now? Yeah,
you're right. When that happened, I looked at my partner, after about a week, and I was like, I'm freaked out. Like, what am I going to do? Like, what are we going to do? Like, this is your income too. Like, what are we going to do? And he just looked at me. He's like, always comes back around. It just does. Just believe in it. It always, as long as you're doing the good work and you're showing up and you're not just waiting for it to happen, it'll come back around. And I'm like, you're right. I don't like to admit that, but you are. And it does, but it's exhausting. I mean, anybody who's an entrepreneur knows, and who has been in these cycles understands the level of going up and down and how challenging it is to be making amazing money one month, and then the next month you're not making anything. And then, oh my goodness, I've made money for 3 months, but then 3 months you don't have anything. And this back and forth situation, what we all really want to do is get to a place where those ups and downs are a little bit more even keeled. People get there, but even big businesses go through, corporate businesses go through really intense ups and downs too. I mean, it's just the playing field of being an entrepreneur or business owner. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not. I have considered, like, maybe I should work for somebody. I'm the all the things. I'm payroll.
That's great. I think the we do for the passion and the reward, the outcome of it. And as for me, I do it for the impact that we've made on our clients. Like our clients, we completely transformed their business around, you know. And that's why we are so invested in our clients' success. And we're so, like wholehearted helping them to grow their business, as it helps growing ours. So as we're coming to the end of the interview, what would be your top three advice that you can give to other business owners out there?
Oh my goodness. On the spot. I think probably the number one thing is always be authentic. Be you, be real. There are certain parts of business where we do need to fit in certain types of boxes. Like if you are going to go to a really big conference and you're presenting, you probably don't want to go in like sweatpants and Birkenstocks, right? Like if it's high level like that. But the point is there's a point in our lives where we just stop trying to fit within the box and we start being ourselves. And that's when the clients come. It really is with anything in life. If you are just yourself, if you're trying to portray something you're not, if you're trying to fit into something, just be you. People want to love you for who you are. And it is true that people can sense when people are not authentic. They can smell that on you. And authenticity, being real and saying you made a mistake, saying just what it is and being just true, people are going to respect that. I mean, you look at companies who make mistakes and then they come out and they're like, yeah, we screwed up. Like we did. People, I mean, of course, the internet vigilantes are just going to be like ripping you apart. But generally, intelligent people are going to go like they own their shit, they owned their thing and that's good. So second, I would say, don't give up. Go back to that Japanese proverb of fall down 7 times, get up 8. There are hundreds of thousands of people who have completely been homeless, who have started businesses in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s that have been successful. There's nothing that can stop you from getting what you want if you're willing to put that energy into it. And it might not look exactly like you want it to be because we have to be adaptable, right? I mean, you can't just be like, I'm somebody who is having this kind of, I can't say with my health issues, oh, well, I'm just going to be well today. Like it doesn't work, but I can be somebody who's thriving through what I have and making goals based on my needs and how I can fit into those goals. And that's what we see with a lot of people, Daniel, is people are like, well, I don't fit into that. You can make goals and adjust them for you. And third off would be is don't take social media so seriously. There's so many small businesses out there and companies and artists and people that define themselves on the success of their likes, views, and it actually is so psychologically damaging that people have taken their lives because they didn't feel that they were valued or they weren't being seen, or it is very challenging for a lot of people to deal with that. And people measure themselves on their likes. I can't tell you how many clients, people that I've worked with that completely think if I'm not getting this many likes on Facebook, then we're failing as a business. And I'm like, but what's your revenue? Well, we're doing great. Well, who cares? Social media is great. And there's a lot of things changing with that. And it's a whole other story. But don't value yourself based on social media, and also don't value yourself based on other people's opinions. Know what your values are inside of yourself, know what you believe in, and don't let anybody shift that for you.
I really love the last point about, really being who you are, stick to the core of your value, your core values, and serve your clients wholeheartedly. And the intelligent one, the ideal client will get attracted to you. And the clients who are trying to be cheat you, trying to get you to work for nothing, cheap, right? And trying to bully you around, like those clients, just say no. Just tell them, I'm sorry, this is not the kind of work that I do. You know,
you can say no.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that. Like, you can actually say no. Like, this is not for me. And the more you say no to the things that don't fit against your values and moral caliber, the more yeses you'll find with things that align.
Yeah, I think that has helped me so much, and just keep my head just like sanity. It's like it's okay to say no. You know, people trying to cheat with your work, and they're trying to bully you around. And just tell them, no, I don't have the best price. I have the best service, and my price isn't even the most expensive.
Right. Well, I feel the same way. Exactly. I feel the same.
So yes, you can get better work elsewhere, but it's going to be more expensive than what I'm offering you. And no, you cannot get the same work elsewhere cheaper. You're not going to get the same work with the same price, because I know I provide the best value for what the price I offer the price. You know, the cheap work is not equal to what we offer. If you don't see it, then maybe we're not a good fit. Exactly. You know, so I think like having the mindset in like, yeah, just be who you are. Don't let people shift you around and, you know, make you do stuff that doesn't fit your core values or your beliefs.
No, not at all.
So yeah, you gotta be strong. I mean, I think like that's so key in any business success. It's like, yeah, you gotta stick to the gun. Like, this is who you are. Don't let your customer tell you otherwise.
Exactly. Like, when we redid our website recently, we had one of our contractors on there, and he's this big bald guy. He's like one of my favorite people in the entire world. And he sent me a picture of his cat as a joke, him and his cat as a joke. And I thought, you know, we are an agency that's fun and interesting. And I was talking to my partner, I'm like, now that he's a part of our content writing team, this is his funny photo. Like, should we use this? He's like this big guy holding a cat. Like, is this appropriate? And so we went back and forth, like, we should probably be more professional. Like, we shouldn't do that. And then I said, you know what? No, we are professional with a hint of funny. We are professional with a hint of irony. Everybody on the page looks normal. And then Steve is sitting there with a cat, and it just really plays to who we are. But we have these conversations all the time about how to remain completely honest and balance that with connecting to the right audience. And we just decided, you know, if somebody goes to our page and sees Steve with a cat and they were like, yeah, no, we don't want to work with you, then we probably don't want to work with them. You know, if you can't just be, you know, if you can't just find that amusing and you're that stuffy, then clearly you're not our people, right?
Yeah, thank you so much, Aunia. I think I had a really good time speaking with you, and I honestly, we uncovered so many golden nuggets and so many important in terms of like entrepreneurs development. You know, all of us here have different stages in our cycles. Some are starting out, some are low to season, some are at the end, and some, you know, it's at the point where they're about to give up. I think these lessons can go far beyond what we can imagine, and I hope to inspire other people to, you know, to what did you say earlier? Just to trust the process. Yeah, just trust the process, and, you know, and do better, and it will come around. Well, thank you for your time, Aunia, and thank you for the audience listening. We'll see you next time. Okay.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity.